Okay, you're going to have to be a little bit patient with me. I know it takes some time for people to come in, but the video will be on my X account. Hold on a second. Sorry, some dogs barking. Always get interrupted. Okay, you see on the screen Donald Trump. Okay, let me just get reorganized here. Okay, what we talked about, I made a video about end times revelation. And so when I get things that confirm what I saw in the vision and private revelation, so from God. So remember, private revelation can change, and just use discernment, and it's just, you can look at it as just my thoughts. Okay. So I made a video called that End Times Revelation, and I'm going to add that and let it play in here. But I wanted to show you, because in that I mentioned a false flag for 50,000 troops, or 50,000 Americans, false flag. So I'm going to just explain this really quickly. I didn't know where the false flag, or where, you can call false flag a lot of different ways. Didn't know where it was going to be, but I saw up to 50,000 Americans, which would give America the excuse to nuke Iran. So when the 50,000 number came out, and I made this video back in February, the other video, and actually had that before that. I just took some time to make the video. And even this I've had for a week or so, a couple of weeks. Actually, when Trump, whenever he said he was sending 50,000 troops there, I was like, oh man, that fits in with what I saw. So if Trump puts 50,000 troops and announces it to the whole world that he's sending them there, and where he's sending them, where they are, and up to 50,000, meaning if they kill 10,000 American soldiers, then he has an excuse to nuke Iran. And in my other video, you'll see what happens if he decides not to do that, because there are other options on the table, which I kind of put in the video that's going to follow this. I'm going to share another thing, because in the video, I also say that they want to destroy the Holy Land, where God's people were, or where the Abrahamic faiths are, basically, but all of the Middle East. They want to destroy it. They want to create starvation, famine, pathogens, civil unrest, etc., etc. It's in the other video that's going to be following this. So I don't want to make this too long, because I'm already at 3 minutes. And I know how people are like, oh, this guy's just a nut. Let me shut it off. So there's the 50,000 number that proves that. Now this one here, this is called the unseen realm, and I'm going to play this for a second. I'm hoping that the sound comes out. It's worth listening to just this little part of this video. Is the unseen realm. You can see it there. You can watch this video on YouTube. I'm just, it's like an advertisement for them, really. And you can just listen to this part of it right here, which is at 1 minute and 19 seconds. I'm going to start it.
The Bible asks us to believe a lot of strange things about the spiritual world. At first, we might be tempted to ignore them, but if we say we believe the Bible, we can't avoid these concepts. Much of what we think we know about the spirit world isn't true. It's been filtered down through centuries of church tradition. Angels do not have wings. Demons don't have horns or tails. And for the biblical writers, the unseen realm was home to more than angels and demons. There were other, bigger players. So do you believe what's in your Bible?
The rock at Caesarea Philippi might be the most imposing rock face in Israel. Imagine standing in front of the 500-foot wide face and hearing Jesus' words, "Upon this rock, I will build my church." This is the place where Jesus and his disciples stood, the scene of Peter's confession. And when Jesus added, "And the gates of hell will not be able to withstand the church," He knew what he was talking about.
Gates to hell? Really? The authors of Scripture believed the gods of the nations were real. Look at Psalm 82 carefully.
God stands in the divine assembly. He administers judgment in the midst of the gods.
When you really look at Psalm 82:1, it's kind of shocking. But there it is, plain as day. God presides over an assembly of gods that he calls his sons. We're just not used to thinking of the heavenly host in those terms, but that's what the Hebrew text says. Psalm 89 says the same thing about God's counsel in the heavens.
A God feared greatly in the council of the holy ones.
The Hebrew word translated gods in Psalm 82 is Elohim. Now, most of the time, it should be translated as capital G, God, but sometimes it's plural, and Psalm 82:1 has both. The problem for us is that we think this is a problem for monotheism, but it's not. We're taught to associate the letters G, O, and D with a specific set of unique attributes. That's why putting an S on the end makes us queasy. But the word Elohim is not about a set of unique attributes. The Bible itself tells us that.
Elohim is simply a word used to describe a supernatural being. It says nothing about attributes. That's why the biblical writers used Elohim for other spirit beings besides God. It's used for the gods of the nations. It's used for demons. It's used for angels, even the disembodied human dead. However, Yahweh is one of those Elohim, and no other Elohim is like him. I repeat, no other Elohim is like him. The Bible describes him in unique ways. There is only one of him, existing as three persons: Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. And he is the creator of all other Elohim.
That term is appropriate because these beings participate in God's rule of the world. Now, certainly God doesn't need their help, but he lets them participate. Consider the strange story that the prophet Micaiah gave to the wicked Israelite king Ahab.
Therefore, hear the word of Yahweh. I saw Yahweh sitting on his throne, with all the hosts of heaven standing beside him, from his right hand and from his left hand. And Yahweh said, who will entice Ahab, so that he will go up and fall at Ramoth Gilead? Then this one was saying one thing, and the other one was saying another. Then a spirit came out and stood before Yahweh and said, I will entice him. And Yahweh said to him, how? He said, I will go out, and I will be a false spirit in the mouth of all his prophets. And he said, you shall entice and succeed. Go out and do so. So then, see that Yahweh has placed a false spirit in the mouth of all these your prophets, and Yahweh has spoken disaster concerning you.
Did you catch where the Bible asked you to believe? God meets with his heavenly host to decide what happens on earth. These beings, the gods of the council, are spirits, not people or idols.
But no other Elohim is him. He is one of a kind. He is the true God with a capital G. He alone is the perfect sovereign creator. He is the Most High God. Now, Psalm 82:6 says God has sons. Sons of the Most High is the phrase.
I have said, you are gods and sons of the Most High, all of you.
Who are these sons of God? It sounds odd. What about Jesus? How can there be all these other sons of God? The answer is found in verses like John 3:16, where Jesus is described as the unique Son of God. Now, some translations say only begotten, but the word actually means unique, one of a kind. How is Jesus unique? The New Testament says he is God, the one uncreated God in the flesh. None of the other sons of God fit that description.
The sons of God language made sense to ancient people. God was king, and kings assigned their sons high-ranking jobs in their government. So it is in the unseen realm. It's important because the sonship language reminds us that God wants a family. His family extends to both the unseen world and to earth, and those two families come together in Eden.
Okay, I'm going to skip ahead a little bit, or maybe I might not even finish all of this. The gate that was in the beginning, where Jesus said that the gates of hell should not prevail over his church, where he was standing in front of, those are the gates of hell he was standing in front of. That's where the biblical story is, that the fallen angels were locked down to wherever they might call Hades or whatever now. Okay, so there's a reason why They want to destroy the Holy Land, the land of where God was and where Jesus stood, because Jesus was actually showing them his victory over them by standing in front of that gate, telling them, you're not going to prevail over his church. Okay. In fact, I'm just going to move now to the next screen. And this is the video I made. I mean, I made it on February 2nd. It's 21 minutes long. I'll put the speed up a little bit on it just so, you know, it takes a little less time, but you should still be able to understand it fine. And it's just me. And let's see how it just goes. Okay. Some harassment and people following me. And police, local police. Yeah. They're trying to, they're asking me like 20, if I'm some kind of list or something. So I think they're like kind of done the stream. It was working a minute ago and I'm using high speed. This is going to be a prediction video. So I just wanted to put in there, I am not, which sounds kind of crazy. I'm going to make it shorter. Okay. So my private revelation from God is a prediction, and private revelation, always you need to use your own discernment. It's a maybe, always a maybe, because in this vision is some outs for some of the world leaders. Okay. First, I'm going to just start with, okay, the problem in them, and the reason that they picked the Middle East in the beginning, and I'm not going to go through the whole story of why they brought all of the Jewish people to Israel, but it has to do with destroying all of the Middle East. And they created Israel as the center for these Frankists. I don't know what to call them, Zionists. I don't know of a name for these elitists that to just remove God from the world. So the first thing they're going to do is they're going to destroy, they're going to do something to Iran, and I believe it's a nuke. And Iran is going to retaliate and has an ally that will help it. And Tel Aviv will be destroyed, and they will then unleash the Samson option, which will destroy all of the Middle East, all the land where God was, where he was with Moses, Muhammad, Jesus, and also India with the Hindu and what's the other religion there? I forgot. And so they want to destroy this. Then, of course, there's going to be oil shortages and food is not going to be transferred around and people are going to go hungry. And this will create civil unrest. It will also have some retaliatory nuclear detonations, and specifically to countries like America and in Europe. And Russia will kind of walk through NATO. But in all of this, billions of people will die and they will fight with each other. And in the end, they will blame religion for all the wars. This will give them their new world order and their new world religion, which will be Luciferian, kind of do as that wilt. And what the devil promised in the garden, you can be gods. So those who believe that they're going to be underground and survive will not. The dumbasses have been spraying the chemtrails in the sky. Besides the chemtrails poisoning and the strontium having some radiation in it, when you blow off nukes, you're going to, clouds keep heat in. They also keep radiation in. So if you plan on living underground for 3 years and not eating each other and think you have enough food and think you're going to come out and kind of rule the world, you're wrong. Depending on how many nukes go off and what areas are livable in the southern part of the hemisphere or whatever, I think you're going to be safe down there. You'll still eat each other. The problem that we have is this is decision time. So in the vision, I saw Donald Trump and Netanyahu both preparing speeches for the reasons to nuke Iran. In the U.S., they want Trump, they already written speeches. They've gotten them written out. In the U.S., they want a false flag. They're looking, they're estimating to kill up to 50,000 Americans in the false flag, which would give them the reason to nuke Iran. Israel just might, if the United States doesn't do it with Trump, but Israel will follow because Iran will retaliate. I won't say much more than that on that subject because I can't give it away. But Netanyahu also wrote a speech of why he let the Samson option go. Why he's going to nuke Iran if America doesn't nuke it, and then he's going to get nuked back, and they're going to release the Samson option. The Samson option doesn't reach all around the world, but it reaches most of the world. The Vatican is obviously going to fall in the Catholic faith. Roman Catholic faith will not be the Roman Catholic faith anymore. So Donald Trump, you have a decision to make. You can follow the lead on Netanyahu and bring the end of mankind down over the Epstein files. You can destroy the whole world for the Epstein files. If you don't send a nuke, Netanyahu will have you eliminated. So protect yourself in that way. If you don't do the nuke, I don't know, you would know how to handle that situation better than me. If you think he's your buddy, you're mistaken. As long as you do what he asks and those people who are controlling him. And for those who don't believe in God and visions, you can ask a few people on my following list who've heard some of my visions and saw that they came true. And not everything. So I'm telling you, there's options here. They can do or not do. I would say just stop right now and just stop. Try and get the oil flowing again and give people other energy alternatives that are free, and stop with the taxing and get rid of all the money laundering to the NGOs with the illegal contracts that are way overpriced and the black budget monies. Or let the world destroy itself. Just remember in Genesis, the last time in chapter 6, when God flooded the world, how many people lived. If you think you're going to live underground, if you believe there's a God, you're mistaken. I'm not going to let people live. You will know you by your fruits. So if you read the Bible at all, by the way, there's nothing in the Bible about building the third temple or taking that land, promised land, and killing the people and taking their land. That's not in the Bible or in Talmud or even in the Kabbalah. It's from the Frankists. It's like a made-up Zionist kind of thing. Just show me the verses in Torah where it says to do that. And don't go back to the Amalek and the Edomites, and don't stop calling Christians Edomites. The Edomites were defeated by the Jews in 430 BC or 130 BC, I forget the year. And they took the survivors into the tribe of Judea, and they became Judeans. So the Edomites are mixed in with the Jews, the Judeans of today, the Jews of today. Those are the Edomites. I don't know, it's in the Bible. So just because the Romans wore red capes and they came and did God's deed to kick you and scatter you because you were worshiping idols. Oh, what were those two idols you were worshiping? Baal and Moloch. Oh yeah, that's what the Israelites were worshiping, and why God exiled them out of the Holy Land. So you may believe they stopped or whatever, but I'm not going to go into all the history because it doesn't really matter because we're looking at the problem today. Donald Trump, you have a decision to make. Netanyahu will never change his mind. He is controlled by those two demons I mentioned, and he does not have his own mind. Donald Trump, you're just a servant right now. They're controlling you, but they're holding something over you. Let it out. Don't worry about that. People would rather have you save the world and tell the truth than destroy everything over something stupid. Well, it's not stupid. Stupid in the sense of the world being destroyed and billions of people starving to death and killing each other. Do you really want to be that guy? Do you? Or would you rather just take the heat for what you did? You're 79, 80 years old, dude. They're going to kill you if you don't do what they say, and they're going to kill you either way. I don't know. I just want to say that always use discernment in anything I say, and I'm kind of really upset. But I would like them to stop following me, and I mean no harm to anyone. I have nothing against Jewish people. I do have a problem with the Zionist ideology, not actually with Judaism at all. People are, but everyone's on their own path. But if your path is to harm other people, that's not of God. Or it's not of God to take tours to watch people get blown up, or to starve people and call babies Hamas. That's not of God. anyone who believes every Palestinian should die is not of God, is not worshiping the God that we know in heaven. Love is the answer, and only love and kindness will bring you back love and kindness. The sword will bring you back the sword. It's not complicated. In other words, you hear a lot of anti-Semitism talk. Jewish people, everybody's anti-Semitic because they're Jews. Listen, this is just common sense. No one dislikes anyone for being Jewish, per se. They dislike what the Israeli and Jewish government is doing. So you get put into that package. It's like the Italians at the mafia. You know, oh, you're Italian, like years ago, you like at the mafia. It's like that same thing. See, people do not like Jewish people for what they're doing. So if you're killing babies and it's televised all over the internet and people call you out on that, you can't call them anti-Semites. You have to, that's wrong what you're doing. It's like I have a neighbor live next door to me and he moves in and then he starts going to my garage and robbing my tools and stealing stuff from my property. And I go and I have an argument with him and I tell him off. And then he has some friends come over or other neighbors and he says, that guy over there is no good. He's against me. He's trying to start trouble with me. When he's the guy stealing the tools, he's the bad guy, but he's blaming me because I didn't go around blabbing to the neighbors that he's stealing my tools. So as Jewish people, I give you a quick example. 4 Jewish people, I could have had put in jail. 2 stole my identification of my business and were buying in my company name, forged titles and things like that. And 2 were keeping rented property space on my car lot in the back, and they were storing stolen cars there. They were mechanics, and what they were doing for their Jewish customers were, if the cars are too expensive to fix, they were saying, report it stolen, I'll make it disappear, except for they were making it disappear on my property. Long story short, the police got involved and they got arrested and got caught with 25 cars. I did not push the issue. They got 3 months probation. The 2 guys who stole my ID, one I never named, one I had to name because they had him on camera. And I didn't press it. He went to Israel for 2 years. I don't know, they dismissed the charges. I never answered any of the letters. I didn't try and put them in jail, but I do that for anybody. I had a black guy who went out on a test drive, a drug addict kind of a guy. Very intelligent guy, spoke a few languages and everything, but he was a drug addict. He stole the car on a test drive. I didn't go with him. I trusted him. But they caught him and they arrested him. And I wrote a letter to the judge to please not put him in jail because that's not what he needs. That's not going to help him. He has other problems. So I don't want anyone to go to jail and I don't want to hurt anyone. That's my way. It's love. And the guy, I seen him after that and he wasn't in jail. And he respected me for doing that for him. And the one Jewish guy who I never named, he respected me also. He was an Orthodox Jewish fellow. And so I would do for anybody. And it doesn't matter, homeless person, and a guy living in a boat in the woods. And I used to see him every day. I didn't see him for a couple of days in the winter. This was years ago. And I called the police and said, listen, this guy, I hadn't seen him a guy. He might be dead in the boat. And I saved his life. They had to cut 10 of his toes off because they were frostbitten. But he could still walk. They gave him special shoes. And I got him in a shelter where, assisted living. And they took care of him. And he came and he thanked me. I'm just giving you a couple examples. Like when you show people love, they show love back. Not everybody. A lot of people don't appreciate when you help them. But if you're hurting people, I can guarantee they will try and hurt you again, back. So with Jewish people, you're hurting the Palestinians, which you were. You took their land with some promise, and you're secular. Mostly 43% of Israel is secular Jews. Secular means you believe there's a God, you just don't follow any of his commandments. It's kind of like the devil, exactly. If you're doing evil things, don't be calling people anti-Semites. Just trying to help you out here. Love brings love. The sword brings death in the sword. Don't understand that? It's like common sense. You do it with your family. You love your kids. If you beat your kids every day and tortured them and didn't give them food, would your kids grow up to love you? I mean, it's not complicated to live the way God wants us to live. We're all the same. You think you're different, you're not. Everybody's the same. That's why you can use organs from different people. It's blood types and stuff, but people are people. Anyway, Jesus, and I know Jewish people don't believe in Jesus, and people have different things about demons and God. He gave 2 commandments: to love God and don't worship other gods. And that doesn't make Christians idol worshipers. You don't understand Christianity. And then Jesus gave a second commandment, which is love one another as I have loved you. as Jesus has loved us. Not like do unto your neighbor as he would do unto you, or you would do, as yourself, treat your neighbor as you treat yourself. Some people are abusive to themselves. So then you wouldn't want to treat your neighbor that way. Treat the way Jesus did. He healed the sick. He clothed the naked. He helped shelter them. He visited the prisoner. He helped heal people. Like, these are what we're called to do. This is what we're called to do as humans to other humans. That will bring respect to each other. The sword is only going to bring the sword. I can't believe mankind has not learned that by now. And if you think, obviously there's a point where you defend yourself or you have to defend your country, but not this making billionaires richer. Who needs $850 billion? Elon Musk or Bill Gates? Donald Trump. You need $6-7 billion? You want to build hotels in Gaza on dead bodies? It's not going to happen. They're going to destroy the whole Middle East. That's the plan that you're not in on. You think you're in on the plan, but you're not. Simple enough. You're getting wrong information from the people around you. And you know that. Listen, there's a reason that they chose the Middle East. It's to erase God from the world, physically. In other words, where he was. And then to starve everyone by stopping all the oil and everything there, and to create starvation and civil unrest everywhere. All right, this is way long enough. God bless everyone, because I'm being repetitive. When I get these visions, I have to give them out. It's God's telling me. I don't care. You don't have to believe me. You don't even have to watch the whole video. But if you do watch it, share it, because there's a reason for this. Okay, God bless everyone. Okay, I just wanted to put the two things in there about the 50,000 troops when I said in the video up to 50,000 in a false flag. So it doesn't matter if Iran kills 10,000 American troops or the Americans and the Israelis kill 10,000 American troops and they blame it on Iran. So it could be either or way. Just saying, so I knew when I was thinking, when I had the vision, I'm like, how are they going to kill up to 50,000 Americans? Like, Iran doesn't have that capability to just do a false flag in America. So there was my answer came to me. He's sending 50,000 troops there and announced it. Who announces to their enemy what exactly they're doing? Not unless you intentionally want to blame them for something you're going to do to them. That could be. I don't know. I'm just guessing, right? And that's not part of the vision. But the 50,000, up to 50,000 in a false flag is part of the vision. And I'm just putting together how that could happen and blame Iran. And if Iran, I told you, and if Trump doesn't do it, then Netanyahu will do it as he's coming to the aid of the Americans. I feel bad for them on something that might happen to Trump, like heart attack thing. He's got the swollen ankle thing going on. Easy to believe. And he's going to help his greatest ally. He's our greatest ally, and he's going to help us and stop the Iranians from getting into his country. Listen, they started a war for no reason. Sorry. God bless everyone. And remember the commandments of Jesus and love one another. Love is the answer to stop this. And it's up to the Israelis, another way to stop this, for the Israelis to get rid of that government that they have. The Israelis have to do that, because if anyone else does it, it'll create more problem. The Israeli people got to grow a conscience and some accountability, and they need to take back their country and get rid of these psychopathic warmongers who want to destroy the whole world and bring in a new Luciferian order, which is really the end game. God bless everyone again. Take care. I'm going to end the stream. Leave some comments so I know what you think of it.